but I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool.
At the time, this was the biggest moment in Clippers franchise history. The other team in LA had just snagged one of the most coveted free agents in the summer of 2019, signing Kawhi Leonard and then pairing him with Paul George in a blockbuster trade. The jokes of the Clippers hanging selfies in the rafters at Staples Center in comparison to the Lakers hanging banners were supposed to be over, except they weren't. Not only did the Clips flame out in spectacular fashion in the NBA bubble, blowing a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, they had to watch from home as the Lakers won a 17th NBA title. But the 2021 postseason was setting up perfectly for the Clippers. The Lakers were out of the way, and Kawhi looked like the same guy who carried the Raptors to the championship.
A major Kawhi light!
But that would be the last time we'd see Kawhi in the 2021 NBA playoffs. He missed the rest of the postseason with a knee injury. The Clippers did the unlikely, advancing to their first ever conference finals without him. But ultimately, the undermanned Clippers failed to rally from 3 straight 0-2 deficits, falling short to the Suns. Kawhi and the Clippers now face a very uncertain road this summer. Does he pick up his player option? He has until August 1st to do so. Or does he join his 4th franchise in search of his 3rd ring? Nobody quite knows, and he most likely won't be quick to address that decision. But if you followed the quote-unquote Clipper curse that has haunted this franchise, their fan base is probably expecting the worst-case scenario.
Clippers, Kawhi, and that whole squad will have plenty of time to lick the wounds now as they head to the offseason. Clippers fans' quest for the finals going to have to wait at least another year. In the season-ending loss here, Paul George, 21-8, left plenty to be desired. Postseason perception of playoff P. Did it change at all throughout this postseason? We made much of the 20-point streak that continued here through this decisive Game 6, but Paul George, where does he stand in your eyes after seeing what he was able to do in the absence of Kawhi over these last couple weeks?
I think the answer to that, I think Paul George is a Rorschach test. I think you will see, fans will see, I think teammates will see in him what they want to behold, because you can look back to that Utah series and that remarkable final game to get the Clippers to this series. You can look at some off games and some inefficiencies in this series and the missed free throws. You can point to the fact that he's supposed to be a superstar who didn't get his team there, or you can point to the fact that he got him closer than a lot of folks thought they would be with Kawhi Leonard out. For me, I mean, Joe, I can just speak for myself. I was certainly a Paul George critic. I think there was ample reason to be critical in his past. I think it was legitimate, and I've been incredibly impressed by what he did in this postseason. I'll be curious in the years ahead when he's got a superstar next to him how he plays. But it's a lot to ask to go up against this Suns team, as good as they are, top 10 offensive and defensive rating, relatively healthy, right? Certainly after Chris Paul came back. And to do that without Kawhi Leonard and to put that on Paul George's shoulders, I think the fact that they made it to a Game 6, that they didn't give up, that they still had some fight, for me at least, it's made me view PG more positively in the postseason, because I think he played really impressively over the course of the last, month and a half.
Yeah, much was asked of him in the absence of Kawhi Leonard. Moving forward, that is my next question. Will he have a star next to him in Los Angeles? Because we know this Clippers franchise, it tends to ship and shape and shift all over the place year after year. What do you expect the Clippers to look like next season with Kawhi Leonard a player option coming out of this year?
I know I'm supposed to give an answer, but I'll just tell you what every person I've talked to in the NBA has told me. I have no idea. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a guy that even his own teammates and organization don't fully understand. If he's with the Clippers, they're a championship contender, and I think they come back after this experience and they feel really good about where they're at. I know the Clippers, their window is now, right? Their expectations are to do what the Suns just did this season, and they failed in that. But it is a process, and it is a ladder to try to climb. But I think it's certainly reasonable to suspect that Kawhi Leonard could go somewhere else. I just think we don't know. And talking to a few folks over the last, week, and not only did they say they don't know, they've speculated the Clippers may be in the dark. And Kawhi's teammates maybe in the dark. And they pointed to the fact that Leonard has sat in luxury boxes, not with his teammates. The fact that he's a little bit more of a private guy, that we've had a report out that he wasn't happy with the medical staff as it related to his injury with the Clippers. And that certainly was a huge problem, obviously, with his relationship with the Spurs. We've already seen the guy leave an organization after he led them to an NBA championship. So the honest answer is it's the biggest question mark in the NBA. And I don't think, other than Kawhi Leonard, anybody has an inkling what goes before that question mark at least at this point.
We might not know where Kawhi is headed, but we know where the Suns are, and that's to the NBA Finals. Bill Reiter breaking it all down with us here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, Bill.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.